So this particular, if I was going to teach a class to women on, how to even just be good companions. And as black men, let's just say this, as black men, we have a lot of retraining to do, and our women have a lot of unlearning, as do we. But in this particular sense, they have a lot of unlearning to do. They have learned to be basically useless to a man in all the ways that matter. That's unacceptable. One of the things I would teach in a class, objective by objective, is what I've been told coming up. If you aren't being used in a sense, you're useless. You approach every situation in my life. The reason why I can directly attribute the things that I've accomplished in the social arena, in the job arena, career, so on, entrepreneurship, so on and so forth, is I approach every situation with the question, how can I be of service? I understand what I'm doing for me. It may look like I'm doing something for you. I understand what I'm doing for me, making myself useful. All right, there was something that in that movie World War Z, when I was doing my apocalypse episode and I was trying to make reference to it, and Brad Pitt they were calling him in so he could do some work from the UN and identify something. And they were on a ship. He's like, Captain, I don't want to do. Nah, I'm just here. I'm trying to save my family. He's like, look around. There is no need for non-essential personnel. If you don't work, if you don't make yourself useful, take your chance. Go take your chances with the zombies.
You got to get off the boat.
That is how we should be living our life in every single situation. When I come to something, how can I be of use? Because you're not going to kick me off. You're not going to kick me off this land. I'm going to make myself useful. You're going to give me a job. You won't even think twice. Like they're like, yeah, that's one of them ones right there. We're going to keep him. He can facilitate something out of nothing, right? So women should be doing the same thing in relationships.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I thought you paused. I was going to say, to your point, like when I first started dating my wife, she used to come ask me, like, is there anything I can do that you need from me? Or is there anything I could do better? She used to check in like monthly on that shit.
Dog,
that's literally where I was going, Marcus.
But let me tell you right now, most dudes will say that's the way their wife is. That's likely what sets apart our wives. Like, think about it this way. I think a lot of women, not to disparage them or anything, I think a lot of women are unmarried because they don't know how to activate some of these characteristics in men. Women that talk like that, like my wife, like Marcus' wife, so on and so forth, she activated something. I'm like, did this woman just check if I need it? Like, when she was my girlfriend, would bring food to my crib and cook it. Talk about, you haven't eaten a cooked meal all week? Nah, I thought she was just asking. Then all of a sudden she show up with grocery. Like, good, this woman is trying to be of service to me. While she talking to me about how my day went, she picked my broom up and was cleaning my car. I was like, good God Almighty. Even if I don't want to marry, I got to give her the ring by default now, right? So this is, I'm saying, women, if you're having trouble in the dating arena, a lot of them are failing in this because they've been taught. You've been trained to make yourself useless. Well, I did it for one man and he broke my heart, so I'm not doing it again. It's not supposed to work like that. You are supposed to be doing all of that and being useful for you. That is on your resume. Every time somebody interfaces with you, whether it's in the social arena, romantic arena, in the job arena, they need to be getting the total experience of you. And yes, they should be using you, your network. Another thing that I wanted to say is we all need to be a value add. That's really all Kevin Samuels is saying. You can be a credit or a debit. There's a term that we use, in the entrepreneurship space, in the venture capital space, where people ask me, hey, I heard you set up such and such for this business and you do the administrative consulting. And they'll say, I'm trying to open my own business like that. I got a few people hollering at me, which investor should I go with? And I immediately say the value added investor. If you're trying to open a business that has to do with healthcare, but your only investor is in tech, he might not be able to help you. He just got money. He's not a value add. But if you're trying to open let's say a nursing staffing agency, and you have somebody that has a staffing agency for something else, He already know how the staffing game works. That's a value-added investor. He might already have the technology. He might already have the staff himself. So you always got to look to be a value add to somebody and be useful in that way. I don't know why it's so hard to tell women to let a man use you. I'm trying to be used. And here's what's so insidious about it. Why are women so upset and so reluctant to let men use you while you're asking the man to let you use him? I don't get it. It's not it's an equal trade that's supposed to be going on here. But anybody got anything else before we move on?
Yeah, I was gonna say this real fast is that you went a little further on the other deal. I was gonna say good women want to be utilized.
Yep.
Good women want to be utilized. They want to be of service. They want to help their man. They want to help him move forward and do what he's got to do or whatever. So their situation can be better. A lot of times they'll come to you and ask you, how can I help? Or you're sitting here working on a project and then she'll come over and say, babe, what you got going? Oh, I'm working on this investment deck, whatever. Oh, is that in the finance sector? Yeah, honey, it is. Oh, I know so-and-so's a vice president of such and such bank. Oh, you do? Yeah, I can give him a call. He's a buddy of mine from undergrad. Go ahead, love. You got it. Like, I think that's simple. I think that's easy. And you do that with somebody that you love, and you do that for somebody that loves you back, and that's taking care of you and watching over you. Kind of like what Shane was saying earlier, I want to be used as much as possible. All of us are being used because we're on this platform. You know what I'm saying? All of us are being used in, whatever business or profession that we have, whatever skills that we have. If my phone's not ringing for people to ask me for something or to be of use, then that's a problem. That means I need to get my skill game up, or, I'm not being viewed as a high value person. So I need to change something in my game to be utilized and to be used as much as possible by other people of quality and influence as well.
And one last thing, when at the end of this, people should absolutely be useful, but don't forget to be gracious of the person that's assisting you. Like let's make sure we always keep that on there, because that's the quickest way for something to go left. If you don't appreciate that person,
taking people for granted.
Taking people for granted. Yep. Make sure you appreciate those people who help.
Yeah. So there's a point. One of the patrons in the chat did make an excellent point. They said, if a woman isn't offering to be helpful, she isn't feeling you like that. And I completely second that notion because there are women who I've met who I've watched them not do certain things for some guys they might do for me, or maybe even vice versa in my early years. So you have to be perceived as valuable to that particular woman for her to even offer you those things. And I think it's silly for women to even entertain or waste their time with the man that they don't value. But unfortunately, sometimes they do. And if a woman feels like she's settling for you, then you may not get the same privileges that you would if she felt like you were in a better position or had more to offer than she does.